Hello students. The topic we will be learning today is statistics, which is very much part of our day-to-day life. It influences our choices and help us to take better decisions. Listening to this statement, you may be thinking how statistics can help us in decision making. For that matter, let's take an example. Suppose today we decide to dine out. We start checking the ratings and comment of different outlet on internet, or we resort to seek verbal feedback from friends, relatives or colleague who have been to that outlet. Then we zero down one outlet and we move ahead with a plan. Actually, the example is very small and informal way of using the basic concept of the given chapter, statistics. After all these discussion, you may be thinking, is statistics all about decision making? Then let me tell you that statistics is not about decision making. Then again, you may be thinking, what is statistics all about? Actually, it involves various steps. Let me take the opportunity to take you through the various steps involving statistics. First comes collection of data. Data are collected from various sources, which are broadly classified as primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources are those sources where we get first-hand information from people who have experienced the services or have taken the product from the outlet. Let me remind you about the example we discussed before, where we took verbal feedback from friends, relatives about the outlet. These type of sources are known as primary sources. Then comes secondary sources such as rating on internet, report published in newspaper or many more. Once data is collected, now we move to the other step of presenting data. We have learned ways of presenting data such as pie chart, bar graph, histogram, line graph and many more. But in 10th standard, we will learn a new way of representing the collected data. Once data is presented, we start with analysis for presented data. For that, let's take a bar graph showing the export of Indian steel over a period of 7 years, starting from 2001 to 2007. Seeing the graph, we can easily say that the export has almost doubled from 15 to nearly 28 over the period of given time. We can also see the year in which export was not that great. After analysis, conclusions are drawn, and based on all the above steps, corrective measures are taken and futuristic plans are developed. Seeing these, by now you may have understood the importance of this chapter in today's time. For a better understanding of this chapter, we will learn the basic terms that we will come across frequently in this chapter. First, we will see ungrouped data. For that, let's take marks of 30 students who appeared for 40 marks maths paper. As we can see, the table gives us the information about marks. Now, if I ask you, how many students have scored below 10, or questions such as how many students have scored above 30 marks, don't you think the data presented in this manner won't give you the information conveniently? So now, let me help you by rearranging the data in different form. For that, first let's consider a table with 3 columns, namely class, frequency and tally mark. Let's first decide the class intervals as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and 30 to 40, as 40 is the maximum marks which a student can score. One by one, we will consider the given data and arrange it in this table. So starting with 9, as it is in between 0 to 10, We will give one tally mark in that row having 0 to 10. Then comes 11. 11 lies between 10 to 20. We give one tally mark in that row. Subsequently 25, 33, 13, 26, 25, 19, 22, 21, 23, 19, 34, 8, 37, 38, 7, 19, 35, 19 again, 16, 31, 27, 39, 29, 6, 28, 23, 4, and last one, that is 39. With this, we complete our tally table. After completing the table, we write down the frequency of the respective class interval. As you can see, class interval 0 to 10 has 5 students. That simply means there are 5 students scoring between 0 to 10, 7 students scoring between 10 to 20, 10 scoring between 20 to 30, and there are 8 students who have scored above 30 and less than 40. If we remove the tally mark, the table we see is known as grouped frequency distribution table. Let me tell you, the values 0, 10, 20, 30 are known as lower limit, and values such as 10, 20, 30, 40 are known as upper limit. After learning upper and lower limit, we will learn two types of classes. One, discontinuous classes, and the other one is continuous classes. Let's see the example of discontinuous classes, that is 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and 21 to 30. Whereas for example of continuous class, it is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. After types of classes, let's learn the formula to calculate class width. Formula for discontinuous class will be upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. For example, we can consider the upper limit as 10, lower limit as 1, and after bracket we can add 1. That is 10 minus 1, which will give us 9. 9 plus 1, again it will give me 10. That means class width of the given discontinuous class from 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and 20 to 30 is 10. Now we will learn the formula for class width for continuous class, and the formula will be upper limit minus lower limit. Example, we can consider one of the class interval from continuous class, that is 0 to 10, where upper limit is 10 minus the lower limit, that is 0, which will give us 10 as the answer. Class width for this continuous class starting from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 is also 10. Now we will learn how to convert discontinuous to continuous class interval. For that, first we are going to find x, that is the difference between lower and upper limit of two consecutive classes. After finding the difference, we are going to divide it by 2. Once we get x, we are just going to subtract x from lower limit, and we will be adding x to the upper limit of the given discontinuous class. Now let's see an example. If we want to convert 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30 to continuous class, we will just apply the steps that we have learned. The two steps, if you remember, finding x and then subtracting x from the lower limit and adding x to the upper limit. For that, let's consider the given example. First, we will find x. Let's consider the first interval, that is 1 to 10, and the second interval, that is 11 to 20. We will consider the upper limit of the first interval and lower limit of the second interval, and we are going to find the difference. For that, we will be writing 11 minus 10 upon 2. We get 1 upon 2, that is actually 0.5. Once we get x, now we are going to consider the same interval and we are going to add 0.5 to the upper limit and we will be subtracting 0.5 from the lower limit. So let's consider the lower limit 1. We subtract 0.5 from 1, we get the answer as 0.5, and then we consider the upper limit, that is 10. We add 0.5 to 10 and we get 10.5. So now the discontinuous class interval 1 to 10 is converted to continuous class interval as 0.5 to 10.5. Similarly, 11 and 20 is converted as 10.5 to 20.5, whereas the last interval 21 to 30 is written as 20.5 to 30.5. As you can see, the discontinuous classes 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30 has been converted to 0.5 to 10.5, from 10.5 to 20.5, from 20.5 to 30.5. Like this, we convert the discontinuous classes to continuous classes interval. Let's learn one more information using classes, which is class mark. Let's see its formula. Class mark is equal to lower limit plus upper limit upon 2, and class mark throughout this chapter will be denoted by xi. Let's see an example how to calculate class mark. For that, let's consider classes starting from 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, where if we consider the first class and we want to calculate the class mark, the formula states lower limit plus upper limit, that is 1 plus 10 upon 2, which gives us 5.5. After that, let's consider the second limit, that class interval, that is 11 to 20. We again add lower, that is 11 plus 20 upon 2, that simply gives me 15.5. And the last interval, that is 21 to 30, again we use the same formula, that is 21 plus 30 upon 2, that will give me 25.5. After calculating the class mark of discontinuous class, let's see how to calculate the class mark of continuous class. Now for continuous classes, let's take the interval as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and believe me, the class mark formula won't change. It is going to remain the same, that is lower limit plus upper limit upon 2. Let's consider the interval 0 to 10, where lower limit is 0, upper limit is 10. We add them and we divide it by 2. We get the answer as 5. Similarly, the same thing we need to do for the second interval, that is 10 plus 20 upon 2. Again 20 plus 30 upon 2, that is 25. With this, we have learned how to calculate the class mark. Formula remains one and the same, that is lower limit plus upper limit upon 2, be the interval discontinuous or the interval may be continuous. It won't change. Now let me tell you one very important trick. If you want to get the class mark, you can calculate one class mark and you can add the class width to get the subsequent class mark. For example, we can see 5.5. We add 10, we get 15.5, and then again we add 10 to 15.5, we get 25.5. Actually, 10 is the class width. If you remember the formula for class width, that is upper limit minus lower limit plus 1 in case of discontinuous. 10 minus 1, 9. 9 plus 1, 10. We get 10 as the class width for this discontinuous class, whereas we can talk about the continuous class. The formula is upper limit minus lower limit, that is 10 minus 0, which is 10. So you can see 5 plus 10, 15, 15 plus 10, 25. So we can also add the class width to one class mark and we can get the next class mark. I hope this is very clear and simple things that we are learning. After talking about different terms related to classes, let's discuss the term known as cumulative frequency. We have two types of cumulative frequency, that is less than type and more than type. We will be learning how to calculate less than type cumulative frequency first. For that, let's consider the classes and the respective frequency. For calculating less than type cumulative frequency, we consider the first frequency belonging to the first class interval and we write as it is in the cumulative frequency column. After that, we add that 3 to the subsequent frequency, that is 5, and we get 8 as the answer. We write 8 beneath 3, then 8 is added to 2, we get 10. We write 10 beneath 8. 10 is added to 7, we get 17. We write it beneath 10, and 17 added to 3, we get 20. We write it beneath 17. We can see the less than type is arranged in ascending order. That means smaller value first and the bigger value comes subsequently down that. And it answers few questions such as how many students are there below 20, or how many students are there below 30, or it can answer how many students are below 50. Seeing the table, you will be able to answer such kind of questions. Now we will be learning how to calculate more than type cumulative frequency. For that, let's consider the class and its subsequent frequencies. Once we get the class and its frequency, we are going to consider the last interval. Yes, my dear students, we are not going to start from the first interval as we did in less than type. In more than type, we consider the last interval and we consider the frequency of that and we write it as it is. Then we add 7 to that the frequency above that, and we get 10. We write 10 above 3. We add 10 to 2, we get 12. And we add 12 to 5, we get 17. We add 17 to 3, we get 20. From this more than type, you can see more than type is arranged in descending order. That means bigger value first and subsequently will come the smaller values. And this type of table will help you to answer questions such as how many students have scored above 10. How many students have scored above 20? How many students have scored above 50? Or how many students have scored above 50? Now these kind of questions will be answered with help of less than type cumulative frequency and more than type cumulative frequency. With this, we have almost covered all the important terms which we will be coming across in this chapter. There are few which are left which we will be talking about once we come to that particular topic. Thank you.